Mwane meje neje 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 Onya meje ni kakazenti Iluzie solunu akona bini Inaja kwala Inakwaje kama ya
Several Nigerians of the Southeast origin, particularly the youth, believe that they are not wanted in Nigeria due to the obvious marginalization of the region by successive governments at the center. And this marginalization and leadership sidelining of the Igbo people manifests in diverse forms, including but not limited to appointments and allocation of sensitive positions in Nigeria, lack of development of the region, and inadequate federal projects in the region. The region is yet to occupy the office of the president in the current democratic dispensation, a development that's aggravating Nigeria's fragile unity. While Nigeria is multicultural in terms of tribes and languages, the country was founded on tripartite tribes, that is, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. Between 1966 and 2019, Nigeria has had several heads of states, and most of them came from military intervention. Several Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones are clamoring for an Igbo president come 2023 for obvious reasons: equity and fairness.
How can anybody who loves this country talk of the presidency coming to the Southwest in 2023? That's why I tell you all these people, they are not serious, including Buhari. Why should you exclude the Southeast? The South is not part of Nigeria. If you are sincere, the Southwest has had, the South has had, the North has had. Why excluding the South if you want them to be there?
To understand this sentiment, you will observe that in the list of past Nigeria's heads of states and presidents, Agui Ironsi was the only Igbo man on it. After the 3 years of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe from 1963 to 1966, the closest an Igbo man has ever come to the seat of power was vice president, when the late Dr. Alexander Ifeanyichukwu Ekweme deputized Shehu Shagari on October 1, 1979, before the current president ousted the democratically elected government on December 31, 1983. But there are Nigerians from within and outside the Southeast who hold the view that political leaders of the region are to blame for not doing enough to pursue national unity and to sell the Igbo agenda for Nigeria's common good. Now that the call for an Igbo president in 2023 is getting louder and louder, several Southeast politicians have declared their ambition to be Nigeria's next president under the APC, along with their counterparts in the Southwest and in the North. They are Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the current Vice President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, former Governor of Lagos State and national leader of the APC, Rotimi Amechi, ex-Governor of Rivers State and serving Minister of Transportation, Engineer David Umahi, the current Governor of Ebonyi State, who only recently joined the APC from the People's Democratic Party, perhaps for this very reason, Yahaya Bello, current Governor of Kogi State, Rochas Okorocha, ex-Governor of Imo State, and the serving Senator representing Imo West Senatorial District, Orji Uzokalu, ex-Governor of Abia State, and the serving Senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige, CNN, ex-Governor of Anambra State, and current Minister of Labour and Employment. Now, with the yearnings by most Nigerians, both home and abroad, that Nigeria's next president come from the Southeast, who then is the most qualified among these APC aspirants? The talk on the streets is that Yemi Osinbajo and Bola Tinubu should forgo their ambition because the tribesman, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, was president of Nigeria only recently. Rotimi Amechi might be hiding under his eastern name, but he is from South Nigeria, thus cannot be fully accepted as an Igbo president by most Nigerians. More recently, his tribesman, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, was Nigeria's president. Actually, Mrs. Patience Jonathan is Amechi's sister. David Umahi, a true Easterner, but he's a baby in the APC who only decamped recently because he was not sure of his chances in the PDP. And then, should Yahaya Bello be thinking about succeeding the tribesman Muhammadu Buhari as Nigeria's next president? With the indication that the APC may zone the president to the south, what acceptable message would Yahaya Bello preach to the Igbo people and several Nigerians clamoring for an Igbo president in 2023? Although born to Igbo parents, the section of the southeast really does not see Rochas Okorocha as a full Igbo man, chief among the reasons being that he is not a cultured man, having been raised in the north, and the trouble at home with his APC leader, Governor Hope Uzodinma, will not help matters. Charity, they say, must begin at home. What about Orji Uzokalu? Your guess is as good as mine. He recently stepped down from the race. Otherwise, it would have been too hard for the APC to market and sell him to the Nigerian voters. This now leaves us with the viable option of Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige, CNN, as the eminently qualified Igbo son without reproach to fly the flag of the APC in the 2023 presidential election. But why Ngige?
Chris Nwabueze Ngige is a personality, is an error. You can't joke with an error. What do I mean by an error? If you look at it, the first time of being governor of Anambra, you understand? During his regime as the governor of Anambra, we're able to understand that Anambra state government has so much money.
There are things about Dr. Chris Ngige that marks him out as a leader who truly identifies with the mass majority of Nigerians. Born on August 8, 1952, Dr. Chris Ngige is perhaps the only politician in Nigeria at this point in time who schooled all his children in Nigeria. While other politicians of his own status attend the graduation ceremonies of their children in the USA, Europe, and similar places, Ngige's has been Odumegu Ojukwu University, Awka, Anambra State, University of Lagos, UNILAG, revealing his high sense of patriotism. The implication of this for Nigerians is that Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige is familiar with the pains of incessant academic interruptions in Nigeria and thus has seen the issues from the inside. This definitely puts him in a better position to tackle it once and for all. It has been identified that one of Nigeria's biggest problems is ineffective civil service. There is little any serious president can do if he has no political will for a holistic reform of the Nigerian civil service and flush out all channel flipping, ghost working, laziness, and the corrupt acts and arts of civil servants. Without the help of most civil servants, it will be impossible for politicians to steal public funds. Here again, we see Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige having a great edge over and above other APC presidential aspirants. He's first a civil servant. Actually, he's more of a civil servant than a politician. As a civil servant who retired as a deputy director in the Federal Ministry of Health, he will champion an unusual reform in the civil service for effective service delivery for all Nigerians. There is no doubt that Providence has prepared him for this task. In administrative capacity, Chris Ngige was in 2003 elected the executive governor of Anambra State PDP. As governor of Anambra State, he stood his ground against some political godfathers who wanted him to govern for them, not the people who elected him. Although his security details were withdrawn by forces in Aso Rock in connivance with enemies of the state, Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige went about his governorship duties without fear. He was one with the people.
And they were not reassured. So they say we should go to shrine.
What was your first reaction?
Of course I said no. Of course I said no. It was a battle that raged on for nearly a week. 2 battles raged on for nearly a week. That one and the question of giving them a check, potato check for some quantum of money.
After unsuccessful attempts to remove him from office, including a fabricated letter of resignation which the Anambra State House of Assembly maliciously accepted, Ngige's election victory was in August 2005 nullified by a tribunal led by Justice Garba Musa Naharuma. Anambra people were shocked by the ruling since the Federal High Court had voided the disqualification. He appealed the ruling. Unfortunately, the annulment was affirmed and the judgment awarding victory to his opponent, Peter Obi of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, was announced. He accepted the judgment in good faith and called on Anambra people to give their support to Peter Obi. To date, he is called the father of modern Anambra State. But before he became the governor of Anambra State in 1999, he was the Assistant National Secretary and Zonal Secretary of the PDP in the Southeast. Between 2003 and 2006, when he was governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige transformed Awka into a befitting capital city, tarring all the roads. He dualized Nnamdi Azikiwe Road and put street lights. He bought the Agu-Awka Power Station, 60 kVA sub-injector station to complement the Nibo Power Station. He created the Ngozika Housing Estate and introduced reforms in the state civil service as expected. Every now and then, you see Nigerian politicians, presidents, governors, lawmakers, and all the rest running to the US, Europe, India, and Dubai for medical reasons at great costs to the national treasury. Meanwhile, Nigeria's health sector is suffering from acute underfunding. But it was not always like this. Citizens of the world used to travel to Nigeria for treatment in the past. In the 50s and 60s particularly, the University Teaching Hospital Ibadan was famous for the caliber of foreigners who went there for treatment, including senior members of the Saudi royal family. By divine providence, intelligence and hard work, Nigerian doctors, of which Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige is a part, are among the very best in the world. The success stories of the healthcare system in the West are not without the invaluable input of Nigerian doctors. Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige studied medicine at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and graduated in 1979. Immediately after graduation, he went into the civil service, serving at the National Assembly and State House clinics at different times until he retired in 1998 as a Deputy Director in the Federal Ministry of Health.
First, I've been in public service for 40 years, Shaun. I started work in Lagos, 1981, as a medical officer 1, rising through the rank, going on courses and everything, to become Deputy Director in the Ministry of Health.
So you understand the problem of the civil service?
I understand the public civil service. I have passed through the mills of the public service of Nigeria, both political party-wise, civil service-wise. legislature, executive at state level, and at the national level. I know the problems.
Still burning with the desire to serve the people, in 2011, Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige contested for Anambra Central Senatorial District on the platform of the now-defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, and was declared the winner over the late Professor Dora Akunyili, former Minister of Information and Communications. He was one of the most visible senators of the 7th Senate, speaking in support of motions and bills in favor of the masses.
Particular bill is anti-people, anti-masses, yes. Anti-labor, yes. Anti-the Senate. Yes.
Ngige is credited for doing the bulk of work in the Senate Committee on Power, where he served as Vice Chairman of the Committee on Health. Also, he initiated the motion for the immortalization and national burial of the late Professor Chinua Achebe, which made the Nigerian government give Achebe a state burial at his hometown, Ogidi, Anambra, in 2013. When an anti-labor bill was smuggled into the Senate by the executive as a private member bill and was almost scaling through to the third and final reading, here arose Ngige as a father of all Nigerians to the occasion by challenging the bill and inspired other senators to stand against it. As a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, among other bills, Chris Ngige sponsored the National Health Bill, which later became an act. Nigeria's National Health Act 2014, NHA 2014, was signed into law on October 31, 2014. It provides a legal framework for the regulation, development, and management of Nigeria's health system. With a medical doctor like Chris Ngige serving as president, Nigeria will once again benefit from the proceeds of medical tourism as in the past. On 11 November 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Dr. Chris Ngige Nigeria's Minister of Labour and Employment. Following his 2019 re-election, the president returned him as his Labour and Employment Minister. He was instrumental in the 30,000 naira minimum wage for Nigerian workers.
Are in this basket. They are caught in the web of this law until repealed. So for today, any state government or employer that goes and be negotiating minimum wage, like some of them are doing with their unions, they are running foul of the law. And section 33 of the Act says anything you are doing in that direction is null and void.
Yes. Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige won the Sun Newspaper Public Service Award for 2021. On 19 April 2022, he declared his interest to run for the post of the President of the Republic of Nigeria under the APC.
Senator Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige. Native of Anambra, in the Emily South local government area of Nigeria, of Anambra State. I formally declare that I am contesting for President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Ndieze Igbo in Diaspora and Igbo Delegates Assembly IDA, comprising Igbos living in the 19 states of northern Nigeria, has since in a unanimous resolution endorsed Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige for the 2023 presidential race. As well-meaning Nigerians all over the world continue to agitate for power to shift to the southeast for equity and fairness, a case is made for Dr. Chris Nwabueze Ngige as the right man with the right leadership spirit for the job at hand. With him at the helm of affairs of the country, secessionism in the southeast will die down. and a united and prosperous Nigeria will emerge.
In fact, if my party gives me the ticket, many Nigerians know that Chris Ngige is the round peg for the round hole of Nigeria. I will fit him. And 2 years, only 2 years, you see the effects of my governance.
Ajia